Crochet for Knitters video, I'm going to show you how to work the woven stitch, a crochet stitch. And I always recommend that knitters know at least a little bit of crochet because crochet works up really quickly and it's pretty fun and it's always a nice break. And I have a few crochet videos coming out this summer and I'm going to position them all as, kind of sell them to you as dishcloths, because if you have a little bit of cotton or cotton blend yarn and a little bit of time, you can whip up one of these and practice the stitch, and it's a good way to see if you want to maybe devote this stitch to a whole blanket or something, and it's also just really fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the stitch. Here I've done it alternating every 2 rows in a different color, and I'm showing you this first because it really shows the makeup of the stitch. The V's actually look like knit stitches, and it does end up looking like a woven stitch, but it's really easy to work. If you've ever done a granny square before, granny squares are worked in the spaces between stitches, and this is worked very similarly. And this is a cotton blend yarn, and I had, this is 18 grams of yarn. So if you want to if you have a little scrap of yarn, you want to see if you have enough, I only used 18 grams of yarn for this. And here it is in a solid color. Oh, I put a single crochet border around this. Totally not necessary. There it is in a solid color. Here it is in a wool blend yarn. You can't see it quite as well in the darker color, but it does still look like it's woven. And here it is in a color to match my nail polish, not on purpose. This is a bulky yarn, so the V's I think look really pronounced. It's a fun stitch to work. It's very easy. All the instructions for working this, the written instructions, are in the video description field below as well as on my website. And I'll give you a link here to that. Oh my gosh, this yarn matches my nail polish too. I do not plan these things. That's kind of funny when it happens. I'm using a worsted weight yarn and a size J hook here, and I'll give you the details for exactly what I used in my dishcloths. I'm using a much bigger hook here because I want you to be able to see the gaps between the stitches. This isn't going to make a fabric that I think is that great for a dishcloth. You want to chain a multiple of 2 plus 3. So I'm going to chain 10, my multiple of 2, and then add 3 to 13. And that, I was not talking during that time, because I always talk when I chain, I lose my place. If you need a slow demonstration of the chain stitch, I'll give you a link here to that. Now we're ready to get started on row 1. What I'm going to do, row 1 you actually have to knit into the stitches, it gets easier after this. What you want to do is to skip 2 chain stitches, and you don't count the one on the hook, so I'm going to skip the first one, skip the second one, and I'm going to put a single crochet in the third one. And I'm putting my hook under the top leg of the V. The V kind of looks like a bind off row in knitting. And I'm going to do a single crochet, which is to pull up a loop, grab the yarn, pull through 2. And I'll give you links to all the technique. I'll give you links to videos that slowly demonstrate each of these techniques in the video description field below. And now I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip 1 chain stitch and go into the next one. You will start to see a pattern here very soon. I did a single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 1. Skip a stitch, single crochet, chain 1. And then I'll make a single crochet. If all went well, the last stitch will take a single crochet. And then I'm going to chain 2 and turn my work. Now, what we have to look at here is then this, I'm hoping I make it easier to see for you here. I think it's easier to see on subsequent rows. But you see these V's here? Those are the single crochets. This is the chain 1 gap between the stitch, single crochet, chain 1 gap, single crochet. And I'm doing it in this loose gauge to hopefully help you see this. because what I want to do first is to single crochet in the chain gap, and that's my chain gap right there. So I don't have to poke through stitches anymore. Just go into that big chain gap, single crochet, chain 1. There's my chain gap again. It goes much faster after the foundation row. Everything goes faster after the foundation row or the cast on row. Did I chain 1? Yes. I'll finish this row, and there's kind of a trick I want to show you. And then the last thing I had here was the chain 2 before I turn the work. I want to put a single crochet in that chain 2 at the very end. Chain 2 and turn work. And now that was the pattern. From here on out, you're just going to work row 2 over and over again. And again, we'll look at this, and you see that's your single crochet, that's your space, that's your single crochet, that's your space. You can see in that multicolor one that I did, I changed color every 2 rows, and you can see the V's are really pronounced in that. It actually might be easier to do alternating colors because of that. Now the thing I want to show you is the mistake that you can make when you're working this stitch is to put your hook in at an angle. You'll want to kind of make sure to put it straight back, especially if you're doing multiple colors, because it'll show up. You work your stitch, and then when you go into the gap, put it straight back, because you see, if you put it in an angle, there's this yarn right here, and you can actually catch that. You can catch that, and it'll end up in the stitch. And then when you want these V's to be really distinct and show up, of course, because that's the cool thing in the stitch, one of them, like one side of the V will end up getting swallowed by the other color, and it won't look right. And I noticed that I did that a couple of times while I was watching Netflix and doing this, and it was so pronounced I actually ended up unraveling it to make it look just right, and then I started paying attention so I wouldn't make that mistake anymore. Anyway, those are all the steps to doing this. The written instructions, like I said, are in the video description field below on YouTube as well as on my website. Good luck.